Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at our Malone Downloader Kayak Carrier right here on our 2022 Toyota Prius. So your Prius can do a lot of things. You get good MPGs, but did you know you can also carry rooftop cargo boxes, kayak carriers, bike racks, and if you want to carry around those kayaks, you're gonna need some accessories though. So what we have here are the Sea Sucker monkey bars as well as the Malone Downloader. So we'll talk about how this works. This works best when paired with the Telos XL Load Assist, but it can also work on its own as a kayak carrier. The big thing with the Prius though is to make sure you have the right roof rack, the one that works for you. So this is a good length. We have a 48-inch long roof rack with some decent overhang. But if you want to carry around multiple kayaks or multiple accessories, I do recommend taking a look at our longer custom fit roof rack options. That way you can have a nice and sturdy surface. But this one right here gives us good clearance. That way our kayak is sitting higher up off the ground. Still reachable for when you need to load it, especially with the Telos, but up there so that it's nice and secure. Included with this kit are going to be your bow and stern straps as well as your cam buckles. These do have metal buckles though, so make sure to utilize that felt underneath them if they are going to make contact with your kayak. And if you have longer kayaks, keep in mind that you may not be able to open up your hatch. So all in all, it's an entire kit. Everything is included, but it can be a little bit tricky too when loading the kayak up, especially with using those straps. So with a 75-pound weight capacity, I personally do not recommend this for your heavier kayaks. You may be interested in a saddle style kayak carrier instead for those heavier kayaks. Now this is going to be compact since it's a J style carrier, meaning you can have one on your passenger side, have one on your driver's side. In that case, that's where the Telos XL Load Assist will come in handy because you can move them around to each kayak carrier that you are using. If you're curious about how that works, definitely check out my full demo of the Telos XL. So you saw how the kayak looks there on top of our Prius. We're gonna take these straps off so we can take a closer look at how everything else works. So with the kayak off, we get to take a closer look at the carrier itself. Some things to note are the pads underneath. This is going to be where your hull is going to sit. We have like a hard foam pad there, but on top we have these pads that you just strap around the arms. You also have a strap keeper up top. That way when you're ready to load up your kayak, you just fold this down, put the straps in, pop it back up, and that way the straps are ready to go when your kayak is ready to go. So comparing this to other similar J-style kayak carriers like the eTrailer kayak carrier, a main difference is going to be where the clamps are. So some of your other carriers have rubberized clamps, and you can see here since we have them on round crossbars, we have a little bit of movement side to side. Now once your kayak is on there, it's going to be perfectly fine since everything will stay centered, but that's just something to keep in mind if you have a round crossbar. Now for the downloader, you do have this load assist ramp. So you get your kayak and you ramp it up and then into the carrier. Where it really shines though is how you can use this with the Telos Load Assist. That's going to be the Telos XL that clips right into that bracket in the center. You can check out the full video for that if you're curious for how that works. So with this carrier, you can carry around multiple kayaks because it doesn't take up much space. So you can get one of these carriers on the passenger side and put the other on the driver's side. So if you have your Prius, that's going to be more helpful than a saddle style just because of how compact it is. Now something to consider is what type of crossbar do you have. As you can see with a round crossbar, we do have that movement. It's going to be better with an arrow crossbar. But if you also have, let's say, an arrow crossbar with a T-track system in the center, you can utilize the T-track accessories. That's going to be sold separately in order to go into there. You do have a little bit of space taken up underneath the crossbar though for your wing nuts. So if you have a super low profile crossbar, something that has less than an inch of space, this is not going to be the best fit for you. You may want to consider something like the Yakima J-Lo, which has clamps that go around and you're not fiddling around with different nuts. So this also folds down just to be a bit more low profile when your kayak is not on there, and you bring it back up. This has a hub which you can use to adjust the tilt of your downloader, and then when you like the tilt, you secure it with that clamp. Now let's take a look at the install process where I show you how easy it is to get those wing nuts in place. To install this, you have 2 wing nuts as well as a clamp. So you're gonna have to have a little bit of clearance underneath your crossbars in order to swing this around, fit underneath the crossbar, and then secure it with the wing nut. Now you do have different options when it comes to securing your kayak carrier. You can put it on your overhang, which is what I'm doing here, or you can put it more towards the inside of your vehicle. And now that that's fully secure and you've done the same for your other kayak carrier, you're just gonna pull this lever on the side, flip this up into the J position, right where you need it to be, and then tighten it back down by popping that lever back in. So you're gonna have your bow and stern straps as well as the hardware. This includes S hooks, which clip into your vehicle. So here in the hood, you're just gonna have to find a mounting point that this can securely hook into. I personally prefer the etrailer dog bones just because that does not have any metal parts making contact with your vehicle. But once that's in place, just close the hood on it and attach it to the bow and stern of your kayak. So here in the hatch, you can use the D-rings right inside of your cargo area. But one thing to remember is as we are opening up a hatch, I did notice I can't open it up all the way. That's because of the length of our kayak, and I have a short kayak. So if you have a long kayak, please keep in mind you will have to be careful with setting up your bow and stern ropes. In fact, you may want to connect them ahead of time. That way you don't open up the hatch at all. So my personal thoughts about the Malone downloader is that this is great when paired with the load assist, but on its own, it's not that impressive compared to our other J-style kayak carriers. When you have a J-style carrier, you have a bunch of different options. You can have something with easy to use clamps like the Yakima J-Lo. You can use something that's even more simple like the etrailer kayak carrier, and then have the universal adapter to use the Telos assistance. Now, if you do want to carry your heavier kayaks, you may want to use a saddle style carrier like the Rhino Rachnotic instead. But with how this works with the load assist, I love it because it makes it easier to get things onto your Prius, and that way you can use your Prius not just for the MPG benefits it gives, but also to carry around all of your fun accessories. And that was a look at our Malone downloader kayak carrier right here on our 2022 Toyota Prius. My name is Evangeline, and I hope you enjoyed the journey.